Today, as we gather to remember and honor the beautiful journey of Dean Debrosse, we also come together to celebrate the legacy of love, kindness, joy that he left behind. In this moment of reflections, let us embrace the memories, the shared laughter, and the moments of joy that marked Dean's journey on this earth. As we begin this service, let us unite our hearts in a song of gratitude, love, and eternal remembrance, paying tribute to a life that touched ours in countless ways. Thank you.
Going on the other side. I'm going on the other side. I'm tired of living in this old world. I finally made up my mind. I'm gonna walk on over to the river of Jordan. Step right in on the tide. Goodbye, old world. I'm going. I want to sing it just one more time. Going on the other side. I'm going. I done got tired living in this old world. Finally made up my mind. I'm going to walk on over to the river, step right in. Goodbye, oh world, I'm going home. I'm going home on the other side of you. I done got tired living in this old world. Finally made up my mind. I'm going to walk on over to the river, stand right in on the tide, and I'll tell my family goodbye. Oh world, I'm going one more time, where the wicked cease from troubling. I'm not tired living in this world. Finally made up my mind. I'm going to walk on over to the river, step right in on, and I'll tell my family and friends goodbye. Oh world, I'm going home, where the wicked cease from troubling. Oh world, I'm going home, where I won't be sick no more, won't have to worry no more. Oh world, I'm going home. I'll tell the world I'm going home. Bye, 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 bye. I'm going home, and I'll tell the world bye, 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 bye. I'm going home. I'm going on the other side.
The following is an excerpt from a book called Buddhism Day by Day that Dean had in his home. An awareness of death enables us to live each day each moment filled with appreciation for the unique opportunity we have to create something of our time on earth. I believe that in order to enjoy true happiness, we should live each moment as if it were our last. Today will never return. We may speak of the past, of the future, but the only reality we have is that of the present instant. And confronting the reality of death actually enables us to bring unlimited creativity, courage, and joy into each instant of our lives. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I am here to share reflections of Dean as a father. So, hey, Deanie. You know your dad better than anyone in this room. But there are some things that you don't know. When him and I got together, you know the infamous pickup line that he used. And you better not ever say it to anyone, because these days you would get slapped. So it was nothing inappropriate. It was just a comment about my weight. So don't say anything like that to anyone. Your dad, as you know, was a private man. He probably would not have wanted a big celebration, and you know that. But we are here today to celebrate his life and to celebrate his love. Your dad was a good man. The fact that he has all of these people in this room with him today to celebrate him means that he was a good man, and it shows how much your dad was loved. You were loved. And that is something that you and me and your dad wanted more than anything, was for you to be a good person. You are smart, you are intelligent, you are the best parts of us. So, going back to when me and your dad met, we actually did not want kids when we met. We had moved into a place in an apartment, and there was a playground across the street, and we were like, can we please move somewhere where it's a little bit quieter? And 3 months later, I found out we were going to have one of those kids on the playground. So the moment that I told your dad, actually I didn't even have to tell him. He just looked at me and he said, I'm not going to get fat with you. 30 pounds later, on his part, we had you. We had you, Dean. We debated a lot about your name. We tried to come up with something that we thought represented both of us. I desperately wanted a junior. He did not. He didn't like his name, so we came to an agreement, a name that sounded like his, but was spelled differently, D-E-E-N. In Arabic, that means faith. Sometimes people use the phrase, my Dean is my path, and Dean, you are our path. Every single decision that your dad and I made was because of you. Once you were born, your dad did everything in his power to make sure that you had the best life. 6 weeks after you were born, he took his first third shift job, and ever since then, he worked the night shift to make sure that he could be home with you during the day. And, we made sacrifices, but that is what your dad wanted. Every single house we got, it was to put you in the best school, to set you up for success. And when you talk about a doting father, Dean, I didn't even have to change your diaper, I think for the first month that you were born. Your dad did everything. He changed your diapers. He fixed your bottles. He swaddled you and would call you his little burrito. So, with that being said, what I need right now is for all the men in this room, and women too, to pour into my son. His dad was his best friend. And I know that Dean was also his dad's best friend. Dean, this is not how I expected things to happen. We both wish that we had more time with your dad. But that is not our story. But what I want you to know, this is not the end. This is the beginning of a new chapter for you. If you look around the room, again, you'll see all of the people who loved your dad. Cousins that you haven't met before. You have family all around the world, from Canada, from Germany, people who have come to see your dad in the past few weeks, and they love you because they loved your dad. So with that, you have an extended family, not only blood family, but also other family. To the kind folks at Westinghouse, Candace, TJ, Zach, the things that you did for my son and my family in the last few weeks, I cannot say thank you enough. To my friends who have sat with me in the hospital, who brought me food, you guys, I appreciate you so much. People who called me and did everything, it's just shows you how much, again, people cared. So, as I said, Dean, you don't have to worry about making your dad proud, because the proudest day of his life was the day that you were born. If you look at those pictures, you can see the love in his eyes. Now, my job is to make you proud, Dean. I want to be the best parent for you. And don't worry about living up to anyone's expectations, because you have far exceeded our expectations as a son. Even with everything going on, you are still being studious, saying that you had a test today. And, not many kids would even think about that. They would have used this as an excuse to get out of doing work. And that's what I mean when I say you got the best parts of me and your dad. Your dad, again, had a killer smile. If you look at his pictures, like that smile, that's one of the things that attracted me to him. And also his intelligence. He was the smartest man I've ever met. And you have that work ethic that he has. He would work 80 to 100 hours a week, 60 hours a week, just to make sure that he could provide for you. So I just want you to know that your dad loved you more than anything. And we are going to continue to make sure that you feel that love through, hopefully, the connections that we keep. But I just want you to understand that this is a new beginning for you, and that your dad would not want you to be sad, and you know that. Your dad would want you to be happy and to keep doing what you're doing, because he's watching down on you, Dean, and he knows exactly the kind of man that you are, and he knows you're doing a good job.
Since this is a celebration, I'm going to sing this for you, Miss April. Let's act like we in church. Everybody come on and clap those hands for a while. Everybody come on and clap those hands. Y'all can do better than that. Help me sing it. After all the things, yes, that I've been, oh Lord, after all the things, yes, You brought me, my Lord. Let me tell you about me. You see, I never gave up, never gave in. Don't you know that I kept the faith and I got up? Don't you know that I'm glad? Don't you know that I'm glad? Don't you know that I still? Don't you know that I still got joy? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I still got it. I want to sing it just one more time. After all the things, yes, that I've been, oh Lord, after all the things, yes, you brought me, my Lord. Let me tell you about me. You see, I never gave up, never gave in. Don't you know that I kept the faith and I got up? Don't you know that I'm glad? Don't you know that I'm glad? Don't you know that I still, through it all, I still got joy? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I still got it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I still got it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I still got it. I want to sing one verse right here. The devil, he comes to kill, steal, and destroy. But I told the devil that I'm going on with the Lord. Then he tried to make me change my mind about putting me under pressure. A whole lot of money and a lot of bribes, but I never gave up. Never gave in. Don't you know that I kept the faith and I got it? Don't you know that I'm glad? 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 My soul is being saved and I'm on my way. The devil's mad because he missed the soul that he thought he had. I said another reason I'm glad. I got a healthy strength and I've got the victory. I still got it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I still got it. If you agree with me, everybody sing and say that I still got it. Still got it. Still got it. Still got it. I got joy through my heartache, joy through my pain, joy through my misery, sunshine and rain. You can't make me doubt him, cause I know too much about him. He's been good to me, and I tell the whole world that I still got joy. I still got joy. If you got joy, you can tell the whole world that I thank you, Lord. I thank you, Jesus. You've been good to me, more than I could see, and I tell the world that I still got joy. I still got joy. Still got joy, and I still got joy.
Hello, I am Dean was my little cousin. And when I was asked to about a verse, and what I know of Dean, that he was quiet and sweet, but he was very pragmatic. So I thought this verse, Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, would appeal to him because of his reasoning mind. I guess that's the best way to describe it. For everything, there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time for peace. Thank you.
Hello. Dean was my beloved cousin. I like to read a prayers and declaration for a changing life. All of life is interconnected and ongoing. There is no death to the spirit of love of those I love. As I mourn the physical passing of my beloved, I open to meet them anew in an ongoing spiritual connection. Subtle but resilient. Our relationship goes forward. As I open my heart to continued connection, I encounter the spark of intuition, the lamp of guidance which signals the shared ongoing path. Those who leave me do so only in body. The physical vehicle falls away, but the beloved spirit continues to live and even to prosper. Ours is a journey of shared hearts. Death is a passageway, not an ending. As I open my heart to continued connection, my beloved are carried forward by my love. Thank you.
Hello, this is by Leo Buscaglia, Living, Loving, and Learning. So that teaches us, if we want to hear, that the time is now. The time is now to pick up the telephone and call the person that you love. That teaching us the joy of the moment. It teaches us we don't have forever. It teaches us that nothing is permanent. It teaches us to let go. There's nothing you can hang on to. And it tells us to give up expectation and let tomorrow tell its own story, because nobody knows if they'll get home tonight. And that's a tremendous challenge. That says, live now. I also wanted to add something. So during the viewing, I had been praying for my cousin because I'd not seen him in a while, but I've been praying for him. And I was just so happy that during the viewing, someone shared with us that Dean gave his life to the Lord. And to me, I'm grateful to God because I'd been praying. Because what's the most important thing is just to make peace with God, because He's the beginning and He's the end. You know, we accept Him, we have that victory. And because of it, I can say, and I know that Dean has says, "O death, where is your sting? O grave, where is your victory?" But thanks be to God who gave us the victory through the Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning. Dean was my little cousin, my little brother, our brilliant little brother. I was asked to recite a poem, beautiful poem, on his behalf to the family. It's called "Do Not Stand by My Grave and Weep." Do not stand by my, do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripped grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circle flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. Thank you. In addition to that, April asked me to share a few memories of Dean that I have. There was a major gap between us. We grew up together in Brooklyn, New York, not too far apart. As you know, my father didn't have that many kids, 14 I might say, and we all were very close to Dean. One recollection that I have in Dean, every time he come to the house, he was very vibrant. He was very vibrant. We have two brothers that were pretty much same close age as Dean were. So he was very happy with them, play with them, the little bowling ball, the little catching whatsoever. I loved, he went to school with my cousin Joanne. She used to love to reflect how he used to run. You know, he was a very vibrant child. But most importantly, what we all know about Dean, how brilliant he was. I mean, I don't have to tell anybody else that. He was very, very smart, school-wise, life-wise, but most importantly, he was not perfect. It's like everybody else. That's one of the greatest attributes that I have with him. He was humble, he was funny as a child. Further down the stretch, as a grown man, last I saw him was during his sister's funeral. Spoke about a lot of things, but Dean, little Dean, you especially, you were his star. You were his spangle, you were his banner. He loved you dearly, and he just talks to you about so on and so forth. We did talk, we're gonna reconnect, but unfortunately, as you grow up, he's in the South, I go in the North. We sort of deviated. I have my life, you have your life, but we all always thought of each other. I love you, Dean. It's been an honor being your cousin. It's been an honor being your blood. It's been an honor being your big brother, and I'm sure everyone else in the room feel the same. Thank you.
So again, we really want this to be a celebration of Dean's life. So if anyone else has any memories of Dean, so family and friends, if you would like to share anything, coworkers, we would love for you to come up so that little Dean can hear about his dad.
I am Dean's uncle. I'll just share with you what I told Dean a week before he passed. John was just here, my cousin, was visiting him, and he managed to get me to speak with Dean using FaceTime. And I saw Dean. I told Dean, you know how much I love you. And I tell him the last time I saw him, that was at Deandra's wedding. I say, Dean, you remember this moment. I hadn't seen Dean for 7 years. That was Deandra's wedding. I should have expected to see Dean there, but for some reason that did not cross my mind. And somebody was tapping me in the back. And when I turned to see who that was Dean. I just can't describe to you this moment, to see Dean after 7 years. And I said, Dean, I'm not going to say anything to you because I know you remember, because I saw your face when you saw me. I saw it. And when we turned, you saw my mom, whom Dean loves so much. And Dean left me and was with my mom. And they were inseparable. And I was watching the two of them. It was a moment to capture. I said, Dean, you remember that? And John was there. He reacted in ways, I'm not going to tell you what it was, or John knows what it was. He did react. I mean, I wanted to make sure Dean went to his grave with this memory, because I told him, I'm going to go to mine with that memory. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Candace. I worked with Dean for over like 5 years, but we also was friends. And over the course, when I first started working there, Dean trained me. We were co-workers then before he became my manager. But little Dean and his family, he talked so much about you. I can tell you from the time he talked about you running track, from the time he talked about you practicing basketball, getting you out there. He said, he's not tall, but he got real long arms. He got a good shot. And he said, I told him about my kids, and he was like, well, your kid's tall, but Dean has very long arms. And he said he would get out there and y'all go to the gym, and he was asking about this trainer. And then he was talking about how, you know, y'all used to play video games, and even to the point where you started stepping in your own little shell of growing your hair. And he was like, he's growing these things, these dreads in his hair. I said, well, Dean, everybody wearing that now. I said, my son that's not a Debrosse way. And I said, well, he's stepping out to become his own little man. And he talked about the importance of working at night, like April said, being home, eating dinner with you. And he talked about you a whole lot. He wanted the best for you. He talked about when you was going to school, and when you went away for, I think you went to governor's school, and he was like, I said, well, Dean, his stomach's acting up probably because he was away from home. And he was like, you'll have practice, and some days he'll get off, and he'll talk about how sleepy he was. I said, if you don't get some sleep before you drive off the road, but it was important for him to take you to practice. It was just everything about Big Dean, it was for Little Dean. And when he opened his locker, it was, there go your picture. You had your track uniform on. So he loved and adored you. And Dean was to know Dean was to understand Dean. If you never went toe-to-toe with Dean, you didn't know Dean, because he was going to speak his mind. And if he felt like he was smart or not so smart, he was going to tell you. He wore the same thing. One day he came in there, he was like, "You didn't say nothing about my new jacket." I said, "Well, Dean, it's like the 50th one." He wore the same khaki pants, black jacket, and his button-up shirts. Same dad shoes. You could tell when Dean came in the lab, he had a baby smell. Like, I'm like, "Do you wash in Johnson and Johnson?" And baby powder deodorant. His hair had to be nice in order. You couldn't touch his hair. And when he was in the hospital, I said, "Well, Dean, I can touch your hair now." And Dean called me. I always told him, happy Father's Day. And this Father's Day was different. He texted me back and he said, "I was so sick I couldn't call you." I said, "What?" I said, "What's going on, Dean?" And he said, "I want to utter the words." He said, "Probably the worst." I said, "Well, where you at?" He said, "I drove myself to the hospital." And went up there, we was talking, and I said, "Well, you're gonna be fine, labs look good." I brought a balloon in the car. He said, "I like the card." Every year Dean did something for my birthday, and I just was packing up some stuff today, and I found this card. And Dean always, I was like, "Well, I talked about God," and I said, "Well, Dean," I said, God. He said, "Oh, there you go with your voodoo." And when I went to see Dean for the first time, he was in the hospital. I seen that Bible open, because God moves in mysterious ways. He don't use your ordinary people sometimes. You don't have to be dressed in a church outfits or whatever to know God is in you and you're saved. So Dean had that Bible open, so I knew God was moving in Dean. And I went back last year and I opened up this birthday card Dean gave me. And in this card, you could have had anything you could put in here, but Dean wrote this. Dean said, "I know the plans I have in mind for you, declares the Lord. There are plans for peace, not yet disaster, to give you a future filled with hope." And he quoted, and he wrote, Jeremiah 29:11. He said, "To Candace, hope your birthday wishes are come true." Signed Dean. So I knew God was moving in Dean. Confirmation when I found this card this morning when I was cleaning up. And then April shared that he got saved. And it don't matter. It do not matter how long, when, where, what type of road you walk in life. Because God uses everybody. And sometimes the one that makes the most noise sometimes is not them. It's God can use anyone, from a drunk to an addict. So with that being said, April, his sister, his mother, his family, Dean is all right. Dean is all right because he gave his life to the Lord. And God been working on Dean, and this is proof. I always save my birthday cards, and if I'm lying, I'm flying, and I ain't coming off this ground. But this is the card he gave me last year, and this year was different. Dean always took up for us because we was a shift where, it was different type of opinions there, but Dean stood behind us. Now, we had to fuss and fight with Dean sometimes, but he would stand behind us. He'll tell us, "Hey, that ain't right. Hey," he'll push you. "You need to go do this, you need to do that. Oh, they did this." He gonna go in that office and he gonna have some words. He gonna be like, "No, I'm standing up for y'all." And he pushed a lot of us, and also probably gave us some headaches, but it was good headaches. And one day Dean, he was different. One day his window wasn't working, and he got off from work and he got in there. It was a cat in there. And Dean said, "That mother freaking cat was in there all night long." I said, "Well, Dean," I said, "Well, what's wrong with your window?" So I referred him somewhere, and one day Chop, he was in that garage sleep, car running. Chop had to come probably save his life. But I just want you to know, family, little Dean, April, his sister, mother, that Dean was a blessing to us. And he will be missed, but spiritually we have a lot of memories. Little Dean, he always told me too, because he told you too, he said, "New York Knicks may not never win the championship when I'm alive." And I brought you a jersey, so when you do go, he said, "Come to my grave." And this is before anything. He wasn't sick or nothing. He said, "You come and you watch that game with me at my grave, because no matter what, New York was everything. If it wasn't New York, it was trash. It was trash." And Dean will be missed.
he really truly be missed. And I thank his mother, his father, and God for bringing Dean into this world because he was a blessing. Thank y'all.
Good morning. I'm George, and I'm one of Dean's oldest cousin. I was asked to present some comfort to all of you in this at this time, and I was thinking about it, and I said, "What can I tell you guys this morning? What can I bring? What kind of comfort can I bring to you guys this morning?" Well, my dear family and friends, yes, although our beloved Dean has passed on, his love lives on. Dean, the son, the husband, the father, the brother, nephew, cousin, and colleague. We love is never really lost to us. We feel him in so many ways, special ways. Through family, such as his son, little Dean. April, his wife. Family and friends he always cared about, and the dreams he left behind. From the beauty he added to our days, his words of wisdom we still carry with us. His mark he left for us to enjoy and embrace. His legacy that will continue through his beloved son. And in memories that will never, ever be gone. Dean, the son, the husband, the father, the brother, nephew, cousin, and colleague, we love is never really lost to us. For everywhere, his special love lives on. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for sharing those memories of Dean. Before our next musical selection and the eulogy, did anyone else have anything that they would want to share? Okay, thank you so much for sharing those thoughts with little Dean. Oh, sorry.
I wasn't going to get up here. My condolences to the family and everyone. My name is Minga, and I was Dean's barber. And he would come once a month, and either I would reach out to him and say it's about that time, or, he'd reach out and say, hey, the day before or 2 days before, hey, Friday? Yep, okay, Friday after work. And he'd come, and he'd be right at the, front of the salon, waiting for, right after work, waiting to get his hair cut. And he was particular about his hair. And every time I, cut it, he'd just pick up the hair and pat it down and say, yeah, that's it, that's it. Dean was not a cheap man. Dean always giver, big heart. And I said, why are you giving me why are you giving me that for a haircut? He said, you know how we do up north. I'm from up north as well. I said, you know how we do up north. That's how we do. Loved to talk about his son Dean. Loved him. He talked about Dean. He talked about his parents. I gotta go get out of here. I think I'm gonna get out of here and go up. I think it's Florida, and gotta spend time with my parents. And I gotta get out of here. I'm thinking about just moving. I don't even like South Carolina like that. And I'm like, is that right? Okay, what are you gonna do? Well, yeah. And then he got on a place closer to. He had to go further. I'm not sure, like about an hour away for work, and he got a place up there. And he says, I don't know why I got that place. So he just expressed himself, colorful language. Say, all right, Dean, language. But I'm just comforted to know the young lady that just spoke about being his coworker and friend, that he's with the Lord, because I would talk about the Lord with him. He knew I was a woman of God, and I'm just grateful for the seeds, and I'm grateful for the acceptance, because, we can plant seeds, and then, it takes time for that person to come to a place of accepting the Lord, and that just brings me great comfort, because he was a good-hearted man, and he loved his family, and I just wanted to say that I'm grateful, and you can be comforted to know that he is with the Lord.
All right, thank you again for sharing those memories. It actually made me think of some things. Dean, that your dad, he did love the Knicks. He did have his uniform. My parents used to always talk about that uniform that he wore. And he loved his dog, Chop. And he also loved his baby sister, Deandra, who we're going to hear from in a few. Dean did not curse. Oh, hold on, no, I'm saying the wrong thing. Dean did not smoke or drink, but he did. He did. I said it wrong. Like a sailor, and which is fitting because he was a sailor. And he was from Brooklyn. I don't know. I think those two combined. He would say it was very colorful language. He was very passionate. Sometimes I would overhear him and Dean talking late at night for hours, and Dean would be just as passionate as his dad. And Dean, I talked about your name a little bit and what it means. People would say sometimes when I was telling a story, I would be like, oh, well, Dean drove me, so-and-so. And they'd be like, Big Dean or Little Dean? You were two. So you will be forever cursed being Little Dean, even now, but I think it's a blessing that, you're always going to be Little Dean because you're his spitting image. You're his little baby. So I just wanted to add that to my final words, but we're going to now have a musical selection, and then we'll hear the eulogy.
Good afternoon. My name is Debrosse, and I'm Dean's younger sister. Before I begin, I want to thank you all for being here today. Over the weeks, as my brother became ill, me and the rest of my family learned so much about a lot of you and your relationship with him and everything that you meant to him. And I ask for your grace. For over 20 years, I've been a lawyer and used my words. Something I was proud of, like Dean, big words, a lot of swear words, and it's very odd today to have to provide the eulogy for your brother, who was Dean, and we heard a lot about that today. We were raised in Brooklyn in an immigrant family. We were raised with a lot of books and a great love of learning. Dean was a true manifestation of the power of books and intellect. Like all of you knew, and I hear it in his son's voice, he liked to challenge the conventional, to challenge what people take for granted, and to question and to question and to question things, a quality that his son Dean shares. We all knew he was crazy smart from a very young age. He was always much smarter than I was. And he attended a gifted high school in New York City called Brooklyn Technical High School. And in high school, he won a city award. And those of you I met said you guys had no idea about this part of his life. I think he kind of hid how intellectually gifted he always was. But he wrote a poem about Nelson Mandela in iambic pentameter that won an award. He was about 16 years old at that time. And he was a gifted writer and thinker and a man of science. And while he was a chemist, obviously, he was a man of science in his thoughts generally. I heard about how he questioned. I think anyone who is friends with him has argued with him. Raise your hand if you had an argument with him. There we go. All right. So I guess you knew him well. So you know it is genetic. This is a family of arguers, so he was genetically predisposed to that. But he also generally favored logic and reason over belief. And as we heard recently, and so much so that probably about 10 years ago we had a bad argument. We had many. But he called me, he said, I can't believe a woman as smart as you believes in God. And so for a long time, my brother was an atheist. And I think that he began to encourage his son to attend church and began to realize that there may be answers that we cannot find in science. And the marriage of those two, his belief in facts and analysis and his recent faith, even made putting this ceremony together challenging, because my brother was, if nothing else, an authentic person. And if he came to faith, it was not because he had any pressure from anyone, but because he came to believe. And I emphasize my brother's authenticity because I think this is a world where it's very hard to be authentic and to be yourself. He was honest, brutally so at times. I see some head shaking. And in his sharpness, often lay humor. He was very funny. Sometimes his jokes made me very angry, but he was very funny. Even facing the incomprehensible, his impending death in the hospital. He said, why won't the doctors tell me the truth? Why won't they tell me I'm dying? My brother had the courage to say the truth, to declare it, to own it, to face it, and that requires a special internal strength. And he had that. He made the best of being a free person, unconfined and unrestricted by the demands of others. As the weeks between his diagnosis and death passed, we heard stories from so many of you of his goodness, of his leadership and mentorship, of his unflinching candor, and for those who knew him, his truly unique sense of humor, and he had that since we were children. And a lot of you talked about how he spoke up for you and encouraged you in your careers. He was one of a kind. I would like to personally thank you on behalf of myself and my family for your kindness, for your friendship, for enriching my brother's life so fundamentally. Most importantly, he was a Knicks fan. And when we were kids, he loved the Knicks, I loved the Knicks, and we watched Michael Jordan decimate the Knicks. Decimate, it was brutal. And he would say, see April laughing over there, I promise you, DeAndre, the Knicks are coming back. And I'm like, this guy's crazy, this is never happening. And I'm happy to declare that he was right. And the Knicks now has a franchise that doesn't make me ashamed to be from New York. And what you've heard, that he loved his son, Dean, desperately. He was proud to be a father. Dean was at the center of his mind and heart in his final days, as he always was. And it's been wonderful to hear you all talk about how much he spoke about Dean all the time. My family also learned a lot in the last few days about how much he spoke about us. I'm sure he talked about our arguing, so we did that a lot. I share that with my brother. But we were surprised, a lot of us, about how much he shared. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. A few days after my brother's passing, I was sitting beside him in a dream. He was the calmest I've ever seen him. He has found still waters. I pray that Dean has joined many we have lost. Our beloved Uncle Michel, with whom he spent many summers in Germany. They were very close, and we lost him recently. Our grandmother Teta and our aunts who have gone before us. Our Papi Milo, who is a well-known poet and thinker. Our Uncle Nemo, who had 14 kids. Some are here, it's pretty awesome. And we loved being at their house on Nostrand. Our grandmother Soso, who we spoke of, who was a character, to say the least, and with whom he loves and was fascinated. Our Uncle Maxi, our Uncle Raymond, who my brother spent some of his younger years in Haiti and lived with my Uncle Raymond, who was also argumentative and very loud, and many more who have gone before us. I imagine in my heart and mind that they stand together arguing over politics or religion or debating generally. I've never met anyone else like my brother, and I believe I will never again. To April, and to Mr. and Mrs. Henry, and your extended family. You were family to my brother. I know what you all stood for aside my brother, and I want to personally, on behalf of my family, thank you for the love you showed my brother. To my nephew, Dean, you are everything my brother could have ever dreamed of in a son. You are brilliant, inquisitive, reflective, and good. As we planned this celebration together, I saw him asking some folks tons of questions, and I tried not to laugh out loud because it was awesome. I mean, he just kind of put people on the spot, and as you know, Dean, Big Dean loved that. And he is with you, and we are with you. To my own family, Dean finally found peace. I was with him when he took his final breath, and I spoke to him in my dream. To all, first, as we all know so well, from Psalms 23:4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me. We are comforted by the promise of God's love, kindness, and the promise of an everlasting after with no pain and no loss. Second, in my brother's spirit of exactness, I would like to leave some instructions for us all. Be brave enough to be honest. The truth is the light. Remember all of him, the good and the bad. Make sure his son knows of the memories you share with Dean. And finally, and most importantly, be loyal supporters of the New York Knicks. To my brother, I am sorry. I love you. You have found peace. We loved Shakespeare's children. Our revels are now ended. These are our actors. As I foretold, we're all spirits and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yeah, all which it inherits shall dissolve. And like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded in sleep. I'm happy you found peace. I love you. Thank you all for being here.